Iraqi President Saddam Hussein met recently with a group of his military leaders, a meeting shown Tuesday on the Iraq satellite channel. This 45-minute portion of the meeting shows leaders of military units throughout Iraq reporting on the morale and training of their personnel, with follow-up questions by President Hussein.
Therefore, I will always like my coffee hot. Drink your coffee. Yes. Sir, my colleagues talked about the morale from the physical point of view. I would like to talk about the morale from the spiritual point of view. And the basis that we depended on, sir, after our visits with the fighters. The most important basis is history. If we go back to history, if you allow me, if you connect the bridge with your grandparents, if you believed in what they believed, by Allah, you will always be victorious. Yes. I would like to comfort you, sir, that your children are all. The Iraqi is equal one fighter. Strength to you. May Allah protect you and bless you, sir. And make you victorious in the most difficult battles, as His will. Mr. President, I would like to mention also your speech at al-Ma'arik Day, when you said that any attack would become cool and peace on the Iraqis. Every Iraqi believed that, because your prayer was from your heart and full of faith. Therefore, all Iraqis are not afraid of the fire that will come their way. Allah also said in the Quran that Prophet Ibrahim, when he was hit by fire, Allah made the fire cool and peace on Ibrahim, because our father Ibrahim, he was full of faith. He was full of faith, and Allah also stood by him. You taught us, Mr. President, that we have to fill our heart with faith, and when we fill it with faith, all these technologies will disappear and will be defeated against the Iraqis. We believe that Allah is with us. This is the spiritual faith that we have. Amen. Yes. We are growing our fighters based on that. Through our visits and meetings with them, the fighters are full of high spirits when we tell them about the history and our great grandfathers, and when we make a distinction between the American who's coming to conquer and the Iraqi who's defending. One of the fighters, he told me he's a simple soldier, but an Iraqi man. He said, sir, if we compared by Americans, when we look at their bodies, they are huge and trained, but if you allow me, sir, if you ask him who's your aunt, he wouldn't know who she is. But if you ask me who's your grandfather, great-grandfathers, we go back until Ashur and Harun al-Rashid and Saddam Hussein. We know our ancestors. We defend our rights, our history, our nation. The Americans are coming here, and they don't want to die because they are invaders. But for us, we are in a condition where we want victory, and based on that we are training right now. As my friends and colleagues said, our morale is very high. We want to prepare our fighters until we fight and have victory. But you told us, sir, that this victory needs martyrdom, and we are willing to do that. And this is also a principle that we are embedding in the soul of our soldiers. May Allah protect you and strengthen you. Thank you, sir. Martyrdom, sir, according to one of my colleagues, Basil Asahar, he said to his fighters, "It is beautiful that you die to live." This is a very important principle, because Allah in the Quran, this is our faith. This is our faith. Yes. Look at your Palestinian brothers. They connected with their grandfathers. They connected with Al-Zubair's story. Therefore, they became artillery against the invaders. Artillery shells. And 7 of the wounded Arabs in Afghanistan. We're not talking about the shape or the ideology or ideas, but we're talking about the soul full of faith. 7 wounded Arabs in a hospital. They could not attack or infiltrate the hospital, surrounded by armies. Even the artillery didn't work against the hospital, or heavy machine guns, or tanks, anti-tank weapons, until finally they had to use airplanes, fighters, to demolish the hospital, and the 7 of them died as martyrs. 7, only 7. Gave an example to all the believers that true and goodness is one thing and evil is another. Yes. The history shows, clarified, and became fruitful, God's willing. Truthfully, sir, I saw that in all the fighters. I don't want to exaggerate, but the morale among the fighters is very high, and our brigade became an example to the rest. Our men are full of faith. You grew, you taught us that. May Allah keep you as a source of strength to us. May God give you health and protection. Yes.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Brigadier General Al-Ali, in the name of God, kind and most merciful, may Allah grant us victory against the infidels. Thanks be to Allah. Prayer and peace be upon His prophets, His family, and His followers. Mr. President, peace be upon you. Peace be upon you too. I would like to start my speech by giving you the greetings of my men to you. Tell them that they are what's inside, not what's outside. Men is what's in. Muhammad, for example, was a colonel on the head of the mechanized division, 24th Mechanized Division. His height's approximately 170. Thin, like Hussein Rashid, but full of nationality and manhood. Nationalism and manhood. He's full. Whenever he walks, you can tell. He's full of these good values. I've seen him several times in a battle. Yes. Sir, this compliment gave us even more responsibility. Some of the formations of, towards some of the formations of our army, And the second is this great title that you gave us. My colleagues talked